joined by Catherine Bell, Principal Sustainability with BDO. Catherine, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Sustainability, ESG, at a mining conference probably would not have been thought about 2 or 3 years ago, but now is certainly coming to the fore. Why is that?
Yeah, it's coming into the fore because it's just becoming all pervasive for all businesses around the world. Material risks are growing with the realities of climate change, global health pandemics, growing industrialisation, and also social inequality. So there is this global movement towards having to address social and economic risks that are associated with doing business, essentially because business activity on the globe has led to unsustainable production and consumption patterns. So stakeholders around the world are looking to see and measure and ensure that the businesses that are operating are doing so in an environmentally and socially less impact's way.
So for an exploration company, a development or production company, what are some of the key blocks that they should be adding to their processes and their practices from an ESG point of view?
Yeah, so traditionally most companies, including exploration companies, have all been focused on the finance, and what we're doing here is really introducing the non-financial elements around doing business. And so for a production company operating in the environment, they do have to be careful around how they're operating in terms of drilling, mine closures and rehabilitation. Biodiversity loss is a real focus and will be a big focus for 2022 after COP26, where the focus was really around climate change. But yeah, the decarbonisation will be a big focus for mining operations, exploration, because diesel and mobility around a mine site does consume a huge amount of energy. So they will need to focus on how they are going to decarbonise and align with commitments such as net zero by 2050 and by 2030, 55%. So a lot of this is being legislated, and a lot of regulatory environment is aligning and wants to see businesses in the mining sector to similarly line up as well.
You touched on in the beginning that exploration, development, production companies traditionally had only ever been focused on the finance part of their businesses, but finance now has such a focus on ESG as well. So the need to meet the ESG requirements or embrace ESG is vitally important, because in a lot of cases you won't get the money you need to build the mines.
No, exactly. This global movement towards ESG is being driven by the capital markets. They are the ones that are applying the ESG screening across all financing applications, and there's a change in societal expectations, and this is where this massive reallocation of capital is actually occurring towards the green economy, towards a newly responsible economy, so to ensure that those costs of doing business are not being pushed down the chain to someone else to hold. So I think there's just been this real focus on ensuring that we do move towards more responsible business. It is human activity that's caused climate change. We're seeing a huge amount of biodiversity loss across the globe, and this is going to be indiscriminate in terms of who it affects. It's affecting our own ability to exist on Mother Earth. So,
do you think we'll see a time where you'll buy a gold bar or a lithium battery or a nickel cathode which has an ESG provenance stamp on it that will show you the ore to finished product journey and how that ESG has met the requirements all the way along?
Oh, absolutely. I think ESG is all about accounting and accountability and transparency. And so absolutely we're going to be looking at new technology around blockchain that will ultimately be putting that stamp and that traceability and provenance across minerals everywhere, because the supply chain is playing a huge role in this ESG movement, and legislation coming out of the EU RIU is making companies liable for, you know, right up the other end of the chain, and if they're seeing any harm in their supply chain, they can be held legally liable in Europe. So there is a huge focus on understanding what your supply chain is up to from a harm point of view, but also from a decarbonisation, understanding what your carbon footprint is as well.
ESG, an unknown term only a few years ago, but clearly now something that should be at the fore of every executive's mind, both from a finance point of view, but from an operational point of view. Really great to get your insights, Catherine. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, David.